subscribe to our channel.
There's a black widow. There's a black widow.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, what's up, guys? Obviously, like the last video, or else you wouldn't be watching this video. Okay, today we're gonna do part 2 of a scary story, but this time it's gonna be 1, because it's a really long. And I don't know if you guys heard about it, but I'm pretty sure you guys have, or some of you. Chris Watts, that's who we're talking about right now. It's a guy who murdered his family, and he almost got away with it, but he didn't. So, apparently the story goes that one day he I guess he wanted to go with another girl, so he killed his family. He killed, I think, how many daughters did he have? I think he had 2, maybe. He had 2 daughters and his wife. So he killed them just so he could go with someone else. And the way he did it was messed up. How he killed them, and he put him where he worked at. That was stupid. They found him in this big old tank. I think it was an oil tank. They found him in there, and they found his wife buried under a I think it was under a dry lake, or there was still water in there. I don't remember. But the story says that he went in. Okay, this guy. Okay. What? You're not putting none of this in the video. He murdered his family, and then he took them to his workshop, or where he worked at, and then he came back and started cleaning whatever mess of it he made. And then the next morning he woke up and went to work, and then that same night his wife got murdered. That he killed his wife. She was with someone. She was with, I think it was a friend. It was someone like that, and she asked her if she needed a ride to the doctor's the next day, and she said yeah. So the next day, that woman came, and she checked to see if she needed the ride still, but she was knocking at the door and no one answered. She was like, why is she answering? So she tried to call her and did not answer. She even called the husband, did not answer. So she called the cops because she was worried because she was pregnant. And then so the cops came, and then they were knocking on the windows, they were knocking on the doors, the front door, the back doors, and the cop couldn't go in without consent from the husband or the wife, the owners of the house. But and he didn't know if they were actually in there. They could have been like someone that would rob the place or something, just trying to get in there. He didn't know, so he had to call the guy out of work. He called the guy and he told him, he called Chris and he told him that, do you know where your wife is, or you know if she's home or anything? And he said no. So the cop asked him if he could come home and open the door, or if he could get consent to go into the house. So Chris just said that he was gonna come home. Instead of letting the cop go inside the house, he just said he was gonna come home. If it was me, I would have just been like, yeah, break the window, do whatever you have to do to go inside because she's pregnant. But he just said, I'm coming home. So he went home, and he was taking a long time. They said that he was taking a long time just to come home. He said they called him back, and he said it was 15 minutes away. And they said it took longer than 15 minutes. And then while they were waiting for Chris to come, the cop was still walking around the yard trying to find a window open or something so he could yell through it and tell them if their wife was home or if the kids were there, just tell them to let them in because he's the cops or something. And the neighbor came out because he seen the cop walking around, and he told him if anything was wrong and that he knew the neighbors. And then he said no, and he asked the neighbor. The cop asked the neighbor if he knew if the wife was home or if he knew that if she left, and he said no. He said, but he has some cameras. If you wanna look through them to see if you want me to look through them to see if she's home or if she left. He said no, it's okay. We're just hoping she was okay, and the husband's gonna be coming right now. So the cop was going back to the front, and the Chris finally came home. He didn't even bounce out his car and take off running to the house. He just came out of his car, he went to the passenger seat, and he looked under his seat. And he went up to the cop, he shook his hand, and he said, the cop said, do you have any idea where your wife could be if she's gone? And he said, no. And then he mentioned a doctor's appointment, but the friend or the cousin or something said that she was gonna take her to the doctors, and so they're all okay. Just open the garage. I'm gonna open the garage and check if her car's here. So they opened it. Her car was in there. He went to the car. He checked the passenger seat, and he didn't even go inside. He should have ran inside. Fucking dogs.
Right.
I'm gonna wait. Okay. He should have ran inside and checked his whole house to see if they're there or not. But he went to the car, his wife's car, and checked the passenger seat for no reason. Probably some people were saying that he was tampering with the evidence inside that car for something. He remembered that he had to do this, and so while he was at work, he was trying to think of what he had missed. So he went back to go get it, to go hide it or tamper with it before the cops find out. But the cops were already there, so he couldn't tamper with it. He went straight to the car, and then he ran inside. And the cop didn't go in, or no one went into the garage neither. They waited at the front door. And then he was in his house for 1 minute and 15 seconds. And apparently he could have been tampering with evidence inside there too. So, and in 1 minute, 15 seconds, he could have ran in, I don't know, did something to hide something, and then he opened the door, and then the cop asked for consent to go in. He said yes. Chris was just walking around the house. The cousin or whatever she was to her was running around the house, and the neighbor was running around the house. So was the cop. But Chris, he was just walking around the house on his phone. He was texting someone. No one knows who he was texting, but he was texting someone. And the whole time they were looking for him, he was just texting on his phone. The cops gave him ideas to see where they will be at, if they're at the hospital, and maybe she just wanted to walk there or something to get some exercise. But he said no. He said no, she wouldn't walk to the doctor by herself. Or he said if there was a playground or something nearby, he said there was a pool, and he said, okay, would you check there? And he said, well, she wouldn't be there because there's no towels missing and there's no extra clothes missing. So he didn't go check. If it was me, I would have bounced up and went to go check that hospital, went to go check the parks and stuff, anything nearby to see if they were walking or something. And they found her phone, and I guess her phone was off. It wasn't dead, it was off. They could turn it back on, and it was some battery left. And they were wondering why would she have her phone off at home? That's weird. No one has their phone off at home. They're either on it at home or they're playing. They need to get calls or something if they're at home or something, because that's where to have it off.
Yeah, true it is. I never have my phone off. I can't have my phone off, so I don't understand why she would have her phone off.
And then the cop was already suspecting him for all of that, his commotions and stuff. Like, he wasn't like trying to look for them there. He was just standing there like he was just waiting for the cop to leave and everyone else to leave, just to forget about it.
So obviously he didn't care about that.
Yeah. So the neighbor, he started checking his footage back to see if she left, and only in the morning he had left. He checked it up to the morning where he only left, and then he went to the next day, and then it showed that at night that he left again, but his wife had never left that house except when she got dropped off. So when she got dropped off, she had never left the house, and he left the house with her body. It didn't show on camera that he put the body in his car because his car was halfway parked inside of the garage as he was putting the bodies in there, so the cameras couldn't see it very good. And is it about to turn off? Oh, your phone. I thought it was your phone.
No.
So him, the cop, and the neighbor was watching the footage at the same time. He kept looking away from the footage to like, dang, I really hope he doesn't catch on to see what I'm doing, or barely see like someone's head or blood or something spill out or something. So he was like scared that the cop would catch him, and then he kept like trying to talk to the cop to make him look away from the footage as he was putting the bodies inside the car. And then the cop was just stuck on the thing, not wanting to try to look at him. But he just kept trying to talk to the cop to make him look at him, look away from the camera. So the cop didn't catch on to it, and then they're all, okay, thanks for the footage, and we'll try to find some more evidence. And they went back to the house. And then I guess there was a call on the radio, like he made a call to something. I don't remember what he said, but the cop said something to his walkie-talkie, and Chris Watts, he turned around real quick right when he said something because he thought he was going to get arrested, like he got caught or something, but I guess not. So that made him suspicious too.
That's crazy. Why are you gonna kill a pregnant woman, like really? And your own kids, your own 2 children. That's crazy. That's just too crazy. Like, there's not even nothing to say because that's like messed up. Like,
I know.
why would you do that though? And
because I watched a video about this. I like watching scary stuff, so I looked up scary stories and shit, and Chris Watts popped up, so I watched it. And I thought it was gonna be like a good story, but it was a crazy story, and that's the one that caught my attention. I remembered it, and I was just like, man, that's crazy. That story is always gonna stick with me because that's a messed up story. How he just killed his family over another woman. All he had to do was just break up with her, but I guess he couldn't because she was pregnant.
And he was sentenced life in prison. He got sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Without the possibility of parole. And he was sent.
Okay, when was he? The murder was on what? Because we need to like cut some of it in there.
Oh, she was a friend.
Okay, so she was.
So
He was arrested late on August 15, 2018. Dang.
that was not that long ago.
I know, that was... Dang, that's crazy. So he got arrested on August 15, 2018.
Oh, he pled guilty to avoid death penalty. So he's 33 years old right now. So
He was born on May 16, 1985.
yes. 5 life sentences. And
He was charged with first-degree murder, unlawful termination of pregnancy, and third counts of tampering with the, what does that say?
where?
Deceased?
Oh, deceased human body.
Deceased human body.
Yes.
Dang, that's crazy.
That is so crazy. Like, I don't see how he could do that. And he was moved out of state location due to security concerns on December 5th, 2018. He arrived at the Dodge Correctional Institute, a maximum security prison in Wisconsin, to serve the remainder of his life sentence. And that is just too crazy, dude. Like, I don't see, like, if you didn't want to be in the relationship, you should have just left instead of just like killing your wife and your kids. You have anything else to say? So this is the end of our video. Okay, well, this is gonna be the end of the video. Hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and
See you guys next video.
see you guys next video.